Oh, I just made a giant masterpiece for all the greatest world newspaper nerds. My brother is wearing the other one. But it's dirty. Where'd you get porcelain from? Coming to get me.
All right, Dan. So what'd you think of that?
That was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, so after that occurred, many individuals were confused. However, the majority of people found it to be interesting and funny. The FCC did not find it amusing at all. And if you don't know what the FCC is, well, it's the Federal Communications Commission, and it's an independent agency of the United States federal government that regulates communications by radio, television, wire, satellite, and cable. So anything that happens on the airwaves that isn't approved by them, they end up getting pissed off.
Oh, yeah. So the FCC wanted to catch this masked Max Headroom guy and started offering a reward for any information regarding this incident. They released a statement that said, and I quote, "I would like to inform anybody involved in this kind of thing that there's a maximum penalty for $100,000, 1 year in jail, or both."
Shortly after that statement, a spokesperson for WTTW, which was the network that had the Doctor Who airing and had the longer interruption occur, well, they decided to make an announcement as well. They said, and I quote, "All in all, there are some who may view this as comical, but it is a very serious matter because illegal interference of a broadcast signal is a violation of federal law."
So the FCC started a deep and long investigation. They came to the conclusion that interrupting the broadcast was actually a lot easier than they originally thought. All a person had to do was place an antenna in between the transmitter antenna and the network's antenna, then they could hijack the broadcast. All it took was the right timing and position to do this correctly.
Now, once the FCC figured this out, they were able to get a general location of where this could have been done at, but they were actually unable to pinpoint an exact location. So they started searching the buildings that were located in this giant area. The FCC ended up finding some warehouses in that general location with the same type of roll-up door that was used in the background of the transmission. However, they still couldn't figure out the most important thing, which was who exactly was under that mask.
Years passed, and no one ever came forward claiming responsibility for the stunt. Despite a long and extensive law enforcement investigation into the incident, the identities and the motives of the individuals still remain a mystery to this day.
And that is the story of the Max Headroom incident. Just like every week, we aren't going to stop there because now we're going to roll into strange facts and findings, which we have some good ones coming up.
Oh, yeah.
But before we do, I just want to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
We've got a very different kind of sponsor for this episode, The Jordan Harbinger Show, a podcast you should check out. It is a high-quality, fascinating podcast.
The show covers such a wide range of topics through weekly interviews with heavy-hitting guests. And there is a ton of interesting episodes.
For example, I'd recommend that you check out episode 28 with James Fallon, How to Spot a Psychopath. They go into the ingredients that go into creating a psychopath, the differences between psychopaths and sociopaths, and how to spot one.
And I'd recommend that you check out episode 457, Help, I Married a Conspiracy Theorist, which in this episode, Jordan talks about, hey, is your significant other that you've been married to for years secretly revealed that they have a belief in a number of conspiracy theories? And now you're sitting there wondering, how can I continue a life together when we're living two entire different realities? Well, guess what? He helps you out with that, which I think that's pretty cool. I'd love to marry a conspiracy theorist, but that's my own personal opinion. But I suggest you listen to the episode, okay?
Check out jordanharbinger.com/start for some episode recommendations.
Or search for The Jordan Harbinger Show. That's HARB, as in banjo, IN, as in nuts, GER, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
Alabama head coach Nick Saban.
I don't spend a whole lot of time answering hypothetical questions, and I think that's a pretty hypothetical question.
Did I just introduce rat poison into this equation? I'm sorry if I did that.
Yeah, to some degree you did, but that's okay.
I do love that phrase.
It's a psychological disposition that people read and hear about how good they are. It's poison in the mind.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, welcome back. Okay. So, Dan, do you want to start it off and tell us about this first strange fact and finding?
So the first strange fact and finding that we are going to go over is broadcast interruptions in general. Now, over the years, there have been multiple broadcast interruptions, before and after this Max Headroom one, and we figured that we could talk about a few of those.
So the first one that we're going to talk about is called Captain Midnight. Have you ever heard of this one, Dan?
Honestly, no.
Neither have I. I've never heard about it until we started researching. So this one actually occurred back in 1986, and it was before the Max Headroom incident. So during that year, an electrical engineer named John McDougall noticed that HBO had increased its cable subscription prices to $12.95 a month.
This pissed off John, and he decided to do something about it. So on April 27th of 1986 at 12:32 a.m., during a presentation of The Falcon and the Snowman, HBO had its satellite signal feed from its operations center in Long Island, New York, interrupted. What appeared on HBO's channel was an image with a multicolored background with the words that said,
"Good evening, HBO. From Captain Midnight. $12.95 per month? Question mark. No way. Showtime, movie channel, beware." And we have an image of that, and it'll be in our reference notes on our website for you to go take a look at if you want to.
The broadcast intrusion lasted between 4 to 5 minutes and appeared on the television screens of HBO's subscribers all throughout the eastern half of the United States. Shortly after that broadcast interruption, the FCC started investigating it. Eventually, authorities were tipped off by a man from Wisconsin in a phone booth at a rest area off Interstate 75 in Gainesville, Florida.
The man called the police and filed a report saying that he had overheard John McDougall bragging about it. So the FCC heard about it, and they started focusing their investigation efforts on John and realized, hey, this might be your guy, because he was alone at the Central Florida teleport at the time of the incident, and a recording of the jamming video showed that the image was created by a character generator at that location that John was at.
So, John was arrested and charged with transmitting without a radio license in violation of Title 47 of the United States Code. He pled guilty and was fined $5,000 and served a year of probation. John stated that the reason he did it, that he was frustrated with HBO's service rates and that it was hurting his business selling satellite dishes. To this day, John still owns his business and even has a page on his website dedicated to the incident.
He stuck it to the man. I like that.
Right?
Now, I don't condone breaking the law, okay? I just want to make that clear. But I did like what John did there. He said, you know what? No more increasing the prices of HBO subscription. No more. Imagine if people did that to Netflix.
I mean, their price is going up too.
Yeah, all the time. It's crazy. All right. So just a little knowledge nugget before we go forward. Since that Max Headroom incident and the Captain Midnight interruption, since they were kind of like around the same time frame, broadcast interruptions in general became like the talk of the town, and all the politicians started talking about it. So the government put in place a new federal law which made satellite hacking a felony. Now, this plays a role in our next broadcast interruption that we're going to talk about, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind as a little knowledge nugget.
All right. So our next broadcast interruption that we are going to talk about occurred on September 6, 1987. Late at night, while individuals all around the United States were enjoying the Playboy channel, the broadcast was randomly interrupted. What appeared on television screen was a religious message that